What up, G-Life? It's your boy MC Shadow back at you with another video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel and share because it does help my channel. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was actually a topic that one of my good subscribers, Basic, asked about. You know, he's one of the guys that I like chopping it up. You know, I like his mentor, you know, hear what he has to say and everything. And he asked the question of, what are my thoughts on juveniles that commit crimes? When you're a juvenile and you're committing crimes, how much are they to blame? You know, and how do I see the over the, you know, the whole matter in general? I actually have been giving this a lot of thought through my years. You know, it's, one of the reasons why, you know, I went into studying psychology is better understanding myself and why I turned out the way I turned out. Like, what exactly went wrong? And I know that there's people out there that is like, what the mean you don't know what went wrong? It's you. You should know what went wrong. Oh, my friend, if only it was that easy. If only really it was that easy, you wouldn't even need to go to school to be taught all of this. You know what I mean? You know, that was the whole purpose of therapists and psychiatrists and everything. I mean, if it was that easy, my boy. Those who don't have these problems and don't understand, of course it's so easy for them to say stuff like that. It's ignorance at its finest. It's like, man, it must be nice being born perfect as yourself. We weren't all blessed with that ability. Sorry. You know, like, what exactly makes a kid, you know, turn out this way? You know, I was seeing a few cases as well where you know, there's families that, you know, have big homes, you know, and they give their kids everything that they could possibly imagine, right? And then they still wonder why their kids turn out the way that they turned out. I'll say this. What's more important, money or your child? A lot of these families choose to put their jobs and their wealth before spending time with their actual kid. You get what I'm saying? There's more important things in this world than money. And that's spending time with your loved ones. That bonding time is crucial, especially in a child's life. That's why they created you know, these bonding times now when you have a newborn. You know, it's for women and for males. You know, you take like a few months off, you know what I mean? Or I think it's up to a year, right? For like bonding time with your child, because they understand when a child is being raised, they understand the bonding time, how crucial it is. It's very important. But there's people that choose jobs because they want to get paid more instead of their families. You know what I mean? I get it, being successful in life. I get all of that. But at what cost are you willing to pay to achieve this? And who are you really trying to benefit if the child's miserable? Because the one excuse I hear is that everything I do is for the kid and for, you know, for my family. But I mean, they hardly get to see you. They're upset that they hardly ever get to see you, that you're not there, that, you know, you're missing out on all the memories and stuff like that. So is this really about your family? Or is this really about you and what you always wanted to get? Or being able to buy what you want to buy? Or being able to floss at everybody, or everybody seeing that you have money? Whose feelings are we really thinking about here? The truth never gets told, because obviously if the truth is told, a lot of people will be looked upon as kind of selfish. So they choose to say all these things and keep repeating them as the illusion. Because people could say whatever they want, but their actions say otherwise. You get what I'm saying? You know, your actions are forever going to speak louder than your words. That's real talk. Now, a child, right? When you're an adult, when you're a teenager and you're committing crimes, some responsibility does fall on your plate. I do believe in them incarcerating them in juvenile hall, but not in the way that they do it. You know what I mean? The way that they try to get people to see their mistakes is one of the most stupidest ways I have ever seen in my goddamn life. And I don't understand how any therapist or psychologist could even see what they do as even, you know, okay, partially okay, or any bit of okay. Where's the rehabilitation, right? It's to prisons, jails, juvenile hall facilities, in locations like that. It's supposed to rehabilitate somebody to bring them back into society. But what exactly are they doing to rehabilitate these people? Lock and throw away the key? That's how you fix somebody? Look, I'm gonna say this, because I hear a lot of dumb, ignorant people say a lot of stupid shit in the comments, saying like they should just kill them, right? That's how you fix the problem, by start killing these people. Not knowing, okay, what if they were falsely convicted? What if they really did show like any type of compassion or regrets, remorse, etc. You know what I mean? What if they could have really been rehabilitated? All these different factors that play in, right? So but you're gonna dismiss all of that and just say kill them, even though potentially any of these factors could play a big role. But you don't want to see that just because you feel like you're right. When how many people have been wrongly convicted and all of that, and how many people have actually been saved and stuff like that. And not only that, but then when you start just killing people, where's the line drawn now? To what extent are we being pushed that, okay, let's just start killing these people or everything? Now it starts being used as a method just to, because people are biased, they let their anger and temper get the best of them, right? So now they just start using this because, let me tell you something, power does corrupt. Giving somebody the power of taking another person's life is going to go straight full-blown to their head. Where is the proof? Look at these individuals. You know what I mean? And then with all this religious talk that gets thrown in there, it's like, I thought no one had the right to take somebody's life. So, I mean, the hypocrisy is ridiculous, for even those ideas to even be thrown on the table. Another thing that I hear people say is, now, when you create scenarios, right, where you're just completely the person already feels that society doesn't get it, doesn't understand him and his pain, right? They just feel like he's just somebody that just woke up one day and just decided to be this monster. They don't understand his pain or his version of the tale and everything like that. That starts building up more anger and more anger and more anger. You know what I mean? It's not fixing no problem. It's making it worse. You're doing everything that kid has experienced. That individual has experienced since he was a kid. You're not helping the matters. You get what I'm saying? When a child commits a crime, he does have some understanding of what's going on, right? But see, children are so quick to rush to conclusions. Their tempers get the best of them. They're dealing with a bunch of hormones that they can't even understand, right? You see that they're over dramatic about even the most smallest things, and they overreact about the most smallest things. That's why I feel that no, it's not okay that a teenager be shooting out their guns or to be able to own a gun like in some of these states. Right? Because you see that a kid over exaggerates his temper because of all the emotions that they can't control, right? Because of all these hormones are new because of the testosterone level, especially in males. So then when he gets in a predicament or an altercation that he doesn't know how to handle, and he owns a firearm, what do you think is gonna happen? Even if he's raised in a good family with a good family, there's a potential that it could go bad. You know what I mean? Because no teenager's gonna be able to have it under control like that when something bothers him. But money talks. That's why these laws get passed the ways that they get passed. Hey, I'm not someone that says that people shouldn't own arms. Yeah, people have the right to bear arms and all of that. Yes, I do believe so. But I do believe that it needs to be a strict age limit to it, and a better background check on individuals before they're even able to hold a firearm. But yes, I believe they shouldn't take away firearms from individuals. You know what I mean? Especially from what history has taught us. You get what I'm saying? Because as humanity, we have a lot of flaws and faults. You know what I mean? We're not perfect. We're far from that. Our emotions will forever get the best of us. You know what I mean? And so teenagers have an understanding of the scenario, but not a full grasp of it. You get what I mean? When there's a lack of parenting and bonding time, because that's actually going to be what steers these kids to the right direction. When you actually have bonding time, when they actually feel like you listen to what they're saying, where you guys are actually talking and communicating. We do it over board games and stuff like that, where we, just discuss and where you're able to feel, that people are actually listening to you instead of being like, yeah, oh, you get what I'm saying? Or on their phones, or just like, no, when your kid is talking to you, put the phone down, no device, and listen to what they're saying, and actually show some like interest in what they're saying. Like, oh, really? Oh, how was it? Like, be enthusiastic. Because they're gonna probably potentially ask you, like what they said. You're gonna want to be able to actually know what they said, because if you don't, it's not gonna really show that you're not interested in. They're not stupid. As much as people want to think that kids don't listen and don't pay attention, they actually do. They pay attention and they listen just to the things that they want to pay attention to listen to. So they're hearing when you think that they're not. They're not dumb. Just because they don't tell you this doesn't mean that they, a lot of kids choose to have it bottled up inside. They choose to keep it bottled up inside because they feel like they have no connection to you, where it's hard to for them to talk about their emotions to you, especially when you're over aggressive and you yell about every little damn thing. Imagine if you whooping the kid's ass for spilling the Kool-Aid or some shit like that, or yelling at the top of your lungs saying how much he's a fucking idiot. Imagine if he actually comes to you with some actual problems. He's gonna think you're gonna want to murk him, even though you know that it's not like that, but your actions say otherwise. You know what I mean? When you're actually coming at the kids like that, you're actually installing real fear in them. You know what I mean? I'm not calling you a bad parent. Just telling you that you should think about twice how you talk to your child, because calling them fucking idiots and stupid. When people say that they had a conversation with their kids about stealing and stuff like that, they never really do have conversations with their kids. Because this is not a conversation. If you ever fucking steal, I'll beat the shit out of you. That's not a fucking conversation. That's a fucking threat. They're not dumb. They watch TV shows and stuff like that and movies. They understand scenarios. They may not be able to comprehend them, but shit, they understand the scenarios when they see them. That's a full-blown threat that you're giving them. You get what I mean? And you think threats build good relationships? Right? Yeah, that's a perfect way of building a relationship. Parenting is a very crucial thing when it's a kid. When they're committing crimes, they're only partially to blame, not fully. Right? Because people have, these laws that they put in place, right? Where they say the reason why it's against the law for an adult to date a teenager is because they don't even know what they want, right? They don't have the means to consent to anything. You get what I mean? That's why the drinking age is 21 and smoking age is 18 and stuff like that, because they feel like they can't make rational choices, right? Decisions. That's the reason why these laws are put in place. Now, if they can't if they don't have the ration and all of that to make choices, then how come when it comes to crime, all of a sudden all that shit gets thrown out the window, and it's like, no, he knew what he was doing, he knew, but then with these other ones, it's the opposite of that. You know what I mean? And I find it baffling that our lawmakers can't even piece the two puzzles together. Like, how is it that you're not able to connect the dots? Why? Because they're different crimes that makes them different? No, it doesn't. Talking about the same scenario, about the person being able to consent to stuff, knowing what they want and stuff like that, right? Like an adult, right? But you know that they're not. That's the reason why these laws are in place with alcohol, tobacco, and being able to date, an older person or whatever, consent to sexual and all that shit. Because they study the brain enough to know that they're not able to make logical choices when it comes to these things. That's why they have age limits to them, and even being an adult. But yet when it comes to crime, all of a sudden, yes, it's perfect. We should try them as an adult. Hello? See, people base all of this on just their own bias, views on things. No, he's a hooligan, a mischief, And yes, the court systems are corrupted, where whites do get, the privilege and the benefit of the doubt compared to colors. It hasn't been that long ago that Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez and all of them people were fighting for freedom and liberty and all of that. It wasn't that long ago. These problems haven't gone away. despite what individuals want to say. They still exist. Not to the extreme that they used to, but they're still around. Um, and like I say, while people could say that they're not racist or they don't view things this or that way, but their actions say otherwise. And I'm sorry, you can say whatever you want. I could say that I could fly and that I'm the president of Krypton. Don't make it true, right? Because my actions, people see me that I'm living in Los Angeles and stuff like that. So no, so my actions are saying different than what I'm saying. So I feel like a child is partially to blame. I believe juvenile hall needs to provide a form of therapy and understanding and programs where it helps individuals overcome these obstacles in their lives, because it does get to the point where your brain develops and it becomes too late. You know what I mean? That's why people could remember everything, like bits and pieces of their childhood, but they can't remember what they did last week or when they bought this item, like last year or something like that. But they could remember, from their childhood. They could, you know what I mean? Because when you're a child, the learning process, your brain is like a sponge, right? It starts soaking it all up. It starts building your character, right? Because you're learning as you go. But it starts, when you hit like around 24, 25, 23, around that age, your character's already pretty much set, right? So no new information is going to be able to, be like set already right there, because you're already, that's why it's harder for people to learn stuff when they're older. Why it's a lot harder for you to change your behavior when you're older. You get what I mean? Those are real studies, real shit. Look it up yourselves. I ain't bullshitting. You know what I mean? It is a little bit complicated, because that's one of the parts, of the course that I found overwhelming. It is, very difficult. But, it's like, how can I say this? Parenting is very important. It's very crucial, like I say, you know what I mean? Being there for your child and having actual conversations with them. I know people, make fun of it and stuff like that when they see white people. Oh my God, because they say that other shit doesn't work. I don't mean spoil the kid and say that they're right and give them everything. No, sit them down and explain why things are bad. You don't want them to say the N-word? Don't say, if you say the N-word, I'm going to whoop your ass. That's not having a conversation. Sit down and explain scenarios. Why it's not okay to say it. Why all of this and that. Don't say you don't have time or you ain't going to do all of that. That's your child. You should sacrifice everything for them and want to do it. I thought people said that they'll do anything for their kids. Then be a parent. How hard is it for you really to sit down and have a conversation with your kid? Acting like if somebody's telling you to fucking, like to do some, like to eat a raw, horse's cock or some shit. You know what I mean? That's your kid, like you should, be able to do it like that in a heartbeat with no hesitation, no problem. But people rather be in their own little world. Nah, I'd rather watch my TV show. I'd rather be replying to my high school friends, like if I'm still in high school and shit like that. No, it's time to be a parent, bro. Your days are over, homie. You get what I'm saying? I know people like to live in their own little bubble, like if they're still in high school, especially now with social media. But sorry, those days are over. Pay attention to your kids. Put your phones down. Build relationships, have board games, sit down and watch the same TV shows and conversate in the process. Go play outside basketball as a family, a basketball game or a football game, or ride bikes, but do something together as a family at least 3 times a week. I'm not saying all day or whatever, but at least you want to do like a board game and, a movie at least, 3 days out of the week. And at least spend time with your kids, at least, 2 hours out of the day, where you guys are chopping it up and, conversating. It's not going to kill you. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because when kids are out there committing crimes, the conversations weren't had, they're obviously rebelling something, you know what I mean? Trying to oh, now you're going to pay attention? Oh, now you want to worry about me? Oh, now you're coming and saying this and that? Well, what? When it's already too late, they're about to take me in already. It's sad that I had to do all of this for you to fucking acknowledge me. And why do they must show these behaviors instead of them going and talking to them? Because they're children. They don't understand what they want. You don't understand? See, a lot of people make the mistakes and say that, Oh, I knew what I was doing when when you hear these ex-gang members talk and everything. You didn't know what you were doing. You were a child. What could you possibly know what you wanted and what you didn't want? Yes, of course you're aware of what's happening. Psychologically, you don't realize that you're damaged. So how is it possibly your fault? You were just a child. Of course you comprehend some stuff, not the whole scenario. So yes, you are partially to blame as well. You know what I mean? It's not just your parents' fault. You know what I mean? But if they would have provided this proper uprising, whatever, then you wouldn't have been displaying this behavior, leading you into that. I get it that you said that you threw the grenade, right? But I mean, who took the thing off and handed it to you? Well, you had no choice but to throw it. But you're gonna think that you're at fault for throwing the grenade then? What were you gonna do with it? I'm just saying, raise your kids better and shut up. We out.